I finally messed around with the strings, got a workable string level for the tops of the posts so I can lop them off. Okay, this cuts more than halfway through, but not all the way. All right. Okay, that's the best one yet. Hello, and welcome to Carlin's Off-Grid YouTube channel. I do things differently. I'm a wanderer, a tinkerer, a nerd, and a U.S. Navy veteran. I have a motorcycle, a truck, and a school bus. Oh, and I built my house now. There might also be spaceships and stuff. I live off-grid. I'm powered by the universe. Comments are always welcome. It would be really awesome if you could subscribe. Hey! Alright, you found me. My name is Carlin, and I've got a off-grid house here on a little ranch in West Texas. Thanks for joining. I'll show you around. More info is on my website. You should totally check that out. The link is in the description. Cool, on with the show already. Yeah, real here. Put the end one on both ends, this end and the other end. I found the center of the first post, made the mark, okay? Did the same on the other end. Then I pulled a string line from that mark to the other mark. Then for a kind of a confidence check, I put the end of the next beam on the mark. Okay, so I do that to the mark. Now we're going to cross. Now the middle post never got cut off, so don't worry about that. But here it is at the string, okay? There's my mark. I measured all of these. They're like about 3/4 of an inch longer than 12 feet, so 144 and 3/4 within a 1/16 or so. I measured all the ones I had out here, okay? So because my posts weren't quite straight, I have to make sure that the floor joist will reach all the way across. That seems obvious, but if I just went to an inch and 3/4, which is half of a 4x4, if I just cut that, I'd end up with some of these that wouldn't reach each other. The 2x6 will be standing vertical, but cut down into that notch that I just drew. And we gotta make sure that it's in a spot that the floor joist, which will also be vertical, will reach it, okay? If I put these too far apart, I get air gap. That's not a very good floor. So this one, I'm gonna have a lot of wood sticking out. Not ideal, but I'm more concerned with making sure that these things reach each other. That's what the second set of marks was for. Okay, I cut these as much as I could with the saw. I didn't want to overcut. The problem is if you cut to the line, because of the circle of the blade, it leaves a wedge in the middle that didn't get cut. So I guess you can finish it with a handsaw. I don't even have a handsaw. So I got this little recip saw. Since most of it's cut, this should knock out pretty quick. So start down here. I think I'm actually to the line almost. That way I had no problem. It's just coming down. You can see it's actually, that was it. So there was just a little cleanup there. Say hello to my little friend. Something I haven't had to use for a while. Like, I don't remember if I've ever used it out here. I'm thinking the lithium battery tools have thermal protection. I don't know that this one does, so maybe that'll make it better. Now we're talking. Well, it's definitely about having the right tool for the job. You just buzz those suckers out in 4 minutes. That's awesome. This one is going to be even to here, right there. So it's going to stick out further than it would have otherwise. So I want it to end middle of this post, so I've got to trim just a little bit off of that one. Then the next post, or the next board, will start there and go down. Look at how thin this piece is, right? There's not much there. So if I go nailing something to that, it's not going to do much good, right? So I'm going to grab some scraps of 2x4, put it on the back side, and glue it and nail it to the bottom half at least. Then when I put the plate on here, it'll nail through both of them and that'll lock it in. And that's because I got the posts not quite in the right spot. One to remember is a bunch of little mistakes will add up to a big problem later, so try to get these right. That's kind of my point right now. Before I start nailing a bunch of stuff, I'm going to lay these out and make sure everything looks right before I nail the first thing. I think I've answered all the important questions, so I'm going to start bringing out the rest of the 2x6s. They're all 12 feet long. Well, I was trying to watch out. First rattlesnake was under the pile. I think it's a rattlesnake. It was coiled up in the shade. Yeah, my voice always goes up an octave when I see one of those. You know, you try to be brave, but it was under the last pile and it went this way. It was coiled up. I've got a mouse problem. I'd rather not kill it. I just don't want to step on it. I know it's on the bottom. It's late now. Thinks it's got a hiding spot. The problem is I got to pull all these out. There's also a snake that's not poisonous that looks similar, but I didn't see the tail. May be gone by now too. I suspect it's going to keep working its way deeper though, so we'll probably see it. Okay, there's definitely tracks in the sand where it was. Rattlesnake. Right there. Definitely rattles. Okay, where it's at, I reserve the right to scream like a little girl. Not moving, it's pretty quiet. Take a chance. Live and let live if you can. It's a pretty one though, isn't it? If you can see it. If you get any closer. They primarily go after mice and rats. If they realize how big I am, they're not going to mess with me. It's only when I attack it that it's going to defend itself. It's not going to come after me. Unless it sees my boot and thinks it's just a tasty looking rat. This is why you look. All right, back to work. Yay. Yeah, they don't like the cold and they don't like the extreme heat. It's got to be warm enough for them to function, right? So you just got to understand what you're dealing with. don't be stupid. You'll tell me if you see a snake coming from that direction, right? Nobody wants to be attacked when they're trying to sleep in the shade, right? To the eye, that looks like it's way too high, but I put it to the marks, and I double checked it with the level, and it's pretty close, so you can't trust your eye on something like this. Okay, I've got basically the first 12 feet done. Now I'm going to bring in some of these and put them up there and just make sure that they reach and everything looks good before I make the same mistake for the other 24 feet. Okay, so what that means, my 4 foot by 8 foot subfloor is not going to be a perfect width anymore. Not tight, but at least touching. That's pretty good. Because I know nothing is straight. See, that one's got friction, that's good. Okay, next I want to figure out, these are going to be on 12-inch centers. Okay, this is just going to hit the post, so I'm going to move it over ½ an inch and that'll be okay. And I'm going to put a few in and just see, kind of, today I'm looking through workflow. It's what, 4:30 now. I don't expect to do this whole thing today. I just want to get through the first section and make sure I don't have any major problems while I'm having, kind of have time to figure it out. What I got, I just clamped a short piece of a 2x4 as a ledge, sticking out. Now when I pick up a 2x6, on each of these boards, I've got a mark and an X. So the mark is on the edge, and then the X covers, the board covers the X, okay? And if you just heard the air compressor running, that's running off of solar. That's pretty cool. Not always going to be like that, but for today I got enough sunshine. Okay, keep my hand out of the way. Try to get it straight up and down. For now I'm just going to put 2 in each one. And then we'll do, now that I've got 3, I'll get all 3 of the other ones. I just realized it's 5 o'clock and I didn't take a lunch break today. I got kind of a late start. I had a couple sandwiches. Hey, look at that. Yeah, that's a third of the floor. Yeah, let's see, it's 5:15 now. I am getting hungry. I think first thing tomorrow I'll come back and put hangers in. That just gives it more support, because you don't want your whole floor hanging off of 2 nails, basically. Whatever that says, 7:45 on the 27th. Alright, in the PM zone. Do a quick walk around here. End of shift report and making sure I didn't leave anything out that I really care about. I set myself up with a cord hanging down out of here so I can just leave this closed and run like the air compressor or whatever. That cord is 15 amps. So this is screwed shut again for now. I ran the air compressor all day today off of solar. That was freaking awesome. So that's viable. It was so nice because I could just, from here, my hose reaches the whole job site. From there, the hose doesn't reach the whole job site, so that's a big deal. And we're getting close. I have got 1 surplus 2x6 after I sorted good enough ones that I can use. That's an 8-footer. I used 8-footer, 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 and there was a 12-footer that had a really bad bow in it after the first 8 feet, so I figured I'd just use it there and get rid of it. All of the rest of these I think are acceptable. Somewhere between good and great. Nothing perfect, but not bad. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, looks like 6, 7 that have a pretty significant twist or a bow in them. I'm going to hopefully not have to use them. If I get desperate, a couple ideas. The last 6 feet, I might drop an 8-footer crosswise and then chop them up and do 6 foot, 6 foot like I was originally going to do. That's still an option. Alright. I hope I don't have to do that, but we'll keep that on the table. Alright. But yeah. So, a couple things that I thought worked out pretty slick. Oh, I tried out a couple hangers. It's a bit fiddly. I put one on a stud and I put one by itself. The tricky bit, make damn sure you got it where you want it, because you don't really know without, next time I'm gonna bring a block with me, set it in there and make sure I got the spacing set right. I still want to do the subfloors going long ways and with the joists going crossways. That seems like a better idea. The saw was down on 1 bar. So I'm going to charge that in the morning. I didn't want to charge it overnight because then I won't have any battery left. Here's the plan. Any of these goofball ones are going to become stairs. Good enough. Okay, it's 8:45 on the 28th. Just getting ready to set up here. I took a few minutes this morning, cleared out all the warped 2x6s. So pretty much everything that's here should be usable. I got one extra. So I got a couple there that are still sort of warped. Try to mix them in as best I can. As long as the top edge is straight, you know, that's basically what we need. So I'll try to watch for places that I can skid them and not worry about it too much. Next, I pulled off the tarps and I restacked some. The OSB I'm not going to need until later, but there's subfloor, OSB, subfloor in this stack. This OSB was on top of the studs over there. The 2x6s were over here, so I had mixed 2x6s and 2x8s here for a while. That was in the way of everything else, right? So I've already got the 2x6x12s over there to finish setting up the floor, right? Once the floor is done, then we hit the green ones, that's the subfloor. Yeah, I'm excited. This is freaking awesome. Hopefully get it down to one pile of OSB, one pile of studs by the end of today. Frick, how cool would that be? All right, a little bit after 6 p.m. on the 28th. Today was a heck of a day. No snakes. Still not a bad day. Ooh. None of the subfloor is down yet. It's just sitting there so I could walk across it. Oh, let's do that. That'll be fun. That just never gets old, right? Getting a little bit springiness. The way this is rated, you're supposed to use 2 layers of this subfloor. And I think 2x6s are on the light end for floor joists, but it's a 12-foot span side to side. The joists are uncut 2x6 by 12 feet, and then 2x6 is on the outer. So it's not perfect. I'm just kind of walking on it a few times to see if I can get used to it. I think I can. I'm so used to walking on the bus with the suspension now, so yeah, I think it'll be okay. By the time I got done, okay, so the last of the joists got down a little after 5 o'clock today, so it's a good stopping time. They all have hangers. In the shadows. And there's 36, actually 37 joists. Because I counted the first one as 0, and I numbered them, right? So I can kind of keep track of stuff. So the issue is, one of the issues, is plumbing. So I laid the pipes out so I wouldn't forget, right? So somewhere about here where it says sink is where the sink is going to be. And near the end of this pipe, it says shower on the other side. That's where the shower is going to be. And 16 is the end of the house, then it goes into storage, and then the back half is the shop. So there will be, the shower is actually in storage. That gets it out of the main part of the house. And that's the only plumbing. I mean, compared to some of my projects, this is remarkably simple-ish. Basically, I did the floor in 2 days, up to now. Because, I mean, I had all the posts done 2 weeks ago, but I had to cut the posts, I leveled the posts, notched the posts, put the perimeter around, and then set all the joists in 2 days. So that's not too bad. I think everything from here is going to go pretty fast. I'm delusional enough to think that. But once you got a solid square-ish, flat-ish, level-ish floor, you just build up from there. So I'm going to try to do a minimum of cuts. It's just more than 3 wide. and my joists don't always end on the end of these, so I'm going to have to end up cutting them short and then adjusting from that. Worst case, shortened subfloor is going to make wonderful countertops and workbenches, so I'm not too worried about that. When I unloaded the truck, when I brought the lumber home that one time, or a couple of the times, I ended up with the subfloor, which is green, and the OSB, which is red, kind of intermixed. Not, I mean, it was like there was a bunch of one and then a bunch of the other, but they were in the same pile. And then my studs were kind of confused, and I had some 2x6s and 2x4s and different lengths all intermixed into there. So now all of the 2x6s are there, and that's done. So I've got just a couple leftover 2x6s that were really warped or cracked, so I pulled them out, the worst of them, and I'll use those for somewhere else, like maybe steps. This pile here with the tire on top, that's all of the wall studs. That's not all of them, but those are all wall studs. And floor and walls. Yeah, holy cow, this just is awesome. I'm excited about this. It's becoming more real. A couple times I've looked out the window and I'm like, oh, there it is. Yay. So it's 10 minutes before 5 o'clock on 29th. I left here before 9 o'clock. So yeah, pretty much the whole freaking day, right? Just so I spent close to $1,000 a day, somewhere really close to 1,000. I'm going to add it up later. I actually decided not to buy these at Home Depot. Went to McCoy's. I think what they had was Schedule 40. Now I'm pretty sure these are Schedule 80. Right? Oh, these are 40 anyway. Okay. Anyway, I just kind of thought, let me stick to one brand of plumbing just if I can, you know, not to mix it up. 100 of 2x4s. I'm going to leave these in the truck and then work from them first, I think. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I just don't. If I can, like, touch them once kind of thing instead of unloading them and reloading them. We'll see. Truckload of stuff. Oh, my God. Plumbing parts, electrical parts, freaking, oh my God, gold wires. I mean, it's like, dude, I blew a nut on this one. 10 gauge, 3 conductor, 100 feet. It was like $165 or something like that. Breaker box, 100 amp. Shitload of breakers. I think these are the right ones. I hope they are. Yeah. The one thing I didn't buy, thinking about it, a 220 breaker for the dryer. Yeah, completely blew my mind. It's like, oh yeah, right, I need that. Put that on the list for next time. Yeah. In the meantime, I'll just run the dryer without a breaker because I've been doing that for the whole time anyway. So, mil-spec zip ties, all kinds of shit here. So I'll bring it in a little bit. Oh, and watering dishes. I got 2 more, same as the one before, for the rabbits and whatnot. Another couple 100 feet of PEX. Yeah. It's fun. It's like, I don't know. It's like, ooh, lumber. I know, just being retarded. All right, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting a slow start today. Whatever. So, what I'm looking at, before I can put the sub paneling down, I really want to run my plumbing, you know, just to rough it in if nothing else, so I don't have to crawl under the house, because at the best, that post is about 16 inches, so you drop down 6. I got, you know, less than a foot probably on most of the house. That would be awkward at best and impossible at worst. All right. So I don't want to be doing that. So if I can lay the drains in now and pull the PEX for fresh water, and and then put the subfloor down. Then I should be good. Okay, 10:45. We're not setting any records, but we're doing okay. I've got a mark that I'm going to center the pipe on. That's just clamped to hold it for a reference. I'm going to start from the other end. I had this drain already. That's from the shower and the washing machine and the bus. And that goes out to here. So that drains. From there it irrigates the flowers and the bushes. To balance things out, I set a water dish out here. That should make everybody happy. First I got to cut into the drain. Okay, the wind is blowing and I'm wearing headphones, so I'll do the voiceover later maybe. We've seen this before. I got this clamped up here. That's as high up as I want to go. I got a little bit of space here. And then as it goes down, the floor is level. So if I just keep dropping it down a little bit, that's good, right? So I've got a stack of blocks there. So there's 3 2x4s there, 2 here, there touches the ground. From here I'm going to work backwards. So I'm going to do this T first because that doesn't move anymore. Work my way this way so I can keep trimming if I need to. I just want to glue these elbows in place. I want to make sure that they're at the right angle because you can wiggle them a little bit and get them to work. All right. Since I'm touching the ground there, I've got some of these street elbows that I don't use very much. It's basically a male to female, right? So if I can get this to work so the female goes right into there and then hook my elbow up, that's good, right? I think from that angle it shows the slope pretty good. It almost merges with the line there, and down here we have quite a bit. Oh, and a dust storm. Perfect timing. Okay, it's about 2 o'clock, a little after 2 o'clock. The first 2 pieces are down. I'm going to trim 2 feet off. I'm yelling over my headphones again, sorry. I'm going to cut 2 feet off. I got that already set up. Almost didn't cut all the way through some of that, but it did, so that's good enough. Figures there would be a little bit of variance anyway. I am cutting into the joist in a couple spots, so it's not perfectly flat. All right, you want it to be about the middle of the joist, right? So I'm just thinking, oh shit, right? How much would that take? Right? How about that? Now I can nail it and just move on instead. Otherwise I was gonna have to cut this one, and I already nailed this one, so I'd be dodging nails. That ain't no good. Okay, the first 6 panels are down. The third set I had to cut again. Second set I didn't cut because I did the little cargo strap trick. This one I cut. The next one is going to go to 8 feet and cut just about 2 inches off the end of it, which then is going to put me close to the end. So it's a little piece on that side and a big piece on this side, but this side plus that side is more than 4 feet. So it is what it is, right? 6:03 Thursday, PM zone, May 30th, okay. Most of this will be unintelligible, so I'll talk a lot and make it up later. Let's see it from the other end. Let's walk the walk. This feels awesome. I mean, it's just a little bit springy, but I'm completely okay with it. That even sounds good. Okay. The center 2 chords are done, courses, whatever, rows. This is approximately 16 inches. Now this is the cool part. Almost the entire side of the house is going to have a shelf or a counter or a work bench or something on it. So I'm never going to be able to walk on that piece. Okay, there's the post. The door is going to be close to center but offset. From front door into storage into the shop, I can walk from front door to back door on this row alone. That's freaking awesome. Anything left over is going to make freaking fantastic workbenches. These are going to be kick-ass. This worked out awesomely. This piece, this is one piece, I cut it in half. This is the only one that wasn't flat. It had a significant bow to it. And then I was looking when I got down to here, and I was actually looking, I was going to split it on the second to last one instead of the third one. But I'm like, well, shit, that leaves me a really awkward size. Because I'll have a workbench that comes almost to the edge of it, but not quite. You know, I'm like, let's just move the seam over there a little bit. And I'm looking around, I'm like, oh shit, this would work because it's small enough I can get the bow out. I'd have a hard time if it was full size, but here it's small enough. I was able to clamp this in, nail it, and then keep walking on it to push the bow out, nailed it down. It's pretty solid now. Same on the other. So here's something to watch out for. There we go. I managed to cut right through a nail. Didn't even slow the saw down. I mean, yeah. Oops. Okay, it's about 4 o'clock. The floor is finished. So here's the deal. I was able to, with the scraps and the offcuts from the other side, close in this side all the way down, and I didn't have to go get any more sheets. Now towards the end it got a little creative, a little bit sloppy. There's some air gaps. That's a pretty good one. I should have tried harder on that one. But it's like, okay, this is going to be under a workbench, okay? So it's not going to get walked on. Although, just as a test, I was walking on this earlier. I haven't found any place that I really thought, man, that's kind of sketchy, right? Now, as far as the work platforms, countertops, and so on, if I feel like they aren't solidly supported, I'll just run a 2x4 rail underneath them. So, like, put down a 2x4 and then put the shelf right on top of it to spread the load out. Some of the stuff, like storage, is going to be kind of heavy. So I'm going to set it up that I spread the load out more than just sitting on one spot. I think that's going to help. I said this earlier just in case I forget. This run from one end to the other down to where the saw is approximately where the doorways are going to run. So they're going to be a little bit off center. This way is south, so doorways will be just a little bit to the south side of center. So I can walk from one end to the other without hitting a long ways seam. So I'll be just walking right down the middle of this piece. Okay. This side is the narrow cut, or the wide cut, and then I did the narrow cut, so I got like 2 full pieces. Wider cut, the off cut from that is about 4 inches too small to be on this side, so that's why it made it difficult. It's just a little bit too wide. I just made it interesting, I guess. So, like for instance, there'll be a chair here, reading area, something like that. Probably the bed will be here. Now I lost all my marks. Kitchen, office up here, kitchen on this side. Crap, I got 2 flies mating right around my head here. Go away. Storage area, and then the last 12 feet or so, I think about here, back is the workshop. Alright. So, coming in the door, I wanted this to be a fairly solid area because I could put heavy stuff there, like if I'm going to take something in and out a lot. So I made that a big piece, and then I use a smaller piece here, right? And then I kind of offset it a little bit. I was trying to be mindful of what I think was going to happen in each spot and then put a piece there that would work for it. So if I thought I could get away with something, I'd put a smaller piece, right? If I wanted a bigger piece for load, I could do that. So I kind of tuned it a little bit to what I was doing. Anyway, it's about 4 o'clock. This section, this piece, this segment is done. I've been walking around on it. It feels really good. You know, it's like jumping up and down. I don't feel the springiness that I expected. I built it a little bit, I think, under spec. 2x6s and single subfloor. The stuff I read talked about doubling up the subfloor and probably go 2x8s or 2x12s. But I figured, okay, it's only a 12-foot span. I went 12 inches on center, and it's only going to be me and a whole bunch of stuff. So it's not going to be much dynamic load. Cool. That feels pretty good, though. One more step closer. Alright, that's about it for this week. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. And what else is there? Patreon and PayPal and all that other stuff. Check out the link in the description. I've got a page on my website. Gives you a lot more information about the ranch and everything I'm doing out here. So again, thanks for now, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. More info is on my website. You should totally check that out. Link is in the description. I do things differently.